Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a worth the buy or nah foundation review on a brand new foundation. This is the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hydrating Foundation. So basically this foundation is supposed to be a hydrating foundation. It's ideal for all skin types. It has hyaluronic acid, known to hydrate and soothe your skin. And it does also have coconut water, which is known to support hydration and skin softness. So this is a hydrating foundation with skin perfecting medium buildable coverage for a natural, healthy looking skin. It is cruelty free, which probably you guys know. This is also dermatologist tested, oil free, and vegan. When I purchased this on Ulta's website, this does retail for $16. And I did pick this up in the shade medium dark 120W. So this shade I think suits me the best. I actually tried a Colourpop foundation, I want to say maybe a year or two ago, and that one I did get in this same shade. So that's what inspired me to get this one. Hopefully it matches me now 2 years later. We're gonna go ahead and moisturize our skin. So I'm gonna be using the Fenty Beauty oil-free moisturizer. This is great for oil control. It looks like this, and I have used a lot of this, and I'm really excited to use this right now because it's supposed to be, I think, the hottest day today of summer. Okay, so we have the Fenty Beauty moisturizer, and now of course we're gonna go in with our sunscreen by Fenty Beauty as well with zinc oxide. And we're just gonna make sure that we really apply this all over. So I don't know if you guys have seen, but Kylie's Skin is coming out with a new sunscreen, 40 SPF. It comes out next week, and I think I'm going to purchase it and review it. I have to say, contrary to popular belief, opinion, I do like some of Kylie Jenner's products from Kylie's Skin a lot. The serum, really love that. Use it pretty much every night. It does really well with my redness. And I also like the toner, which I've been using a lot lately in the morning. So I'm definitely interested to see how that's gonna do. I keep almost forgetting to apply primer, so we cannot forget to do that. I don't have the Pretty Fresh primer, so I'm gonna go ahead and use what I like to use. So I'm gonna be mixing these two, which I mentioned. I'm gonna be doing let me actually do this one, the e.l.f. Matte Putty Primer. I'm gonna be placing that in the areas where I have a little bit of enlarged pores. You guys can see I love this stuff. I always rave about that stuff. And I like to just kind of warm it up with my fingers and then just apply it in these little areas right here around the nose. And then the Cover FX Gripping Primer, which I love because it allows the foundation to really grip onto the face. And I'm just gonna be applying that on the outer parts of the face, because that's kind of where my foundation tends to remove the fastest. So today we're gonna switch things up. We're gonna be using two different products to apply the foundation. Typically I like to use my e.l.f. sponge, but today I'm going to be continuing to use the Fenty Beauty sponge that I have here. And then for our brush, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. brush. This is the Ultimate Blending Brush. Typically I like to use my Morphe M503, but today we're gonna do things differently. So you guys know, one side with a brush, one side with a sponge, to see kind of how it compares and contrasts to one another. And then we can kind of build our thoughts on what I would recommend you apply this with. So once again, this is in the shade medium dark 120W. There is another medium dark, which is much darker, so always pay attention to the number at the end. So let's go ahead and pump this baby out. This is what it looks like, very runny consistency, but it does look like it is gonna be a pretty good coverage because it does look very pigmented. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is apply it on this side and zoom you guys in close so we can get up close and personal. So let's go ahead. Ooh, it feels very velvety. Very velvety at the touch. I'm gonna be taking the Fenty sponge and just applying this all over. Wow, definitely giving me a fresh look. It's covering really well, I have to say. Like, my redness is pretty much non-existent right now. It looks really pretty, very, very healthy. Definitely, just first impressions, this is gonna be something that somebody that likes a more natural finish will really enjoy. I have to say the sponge isn't doing a bad job of absorbing too much of the product. This side foundation on, this side no foundation on. Obviously we do have the redness, which I do feel like this side with foundation, it did a great job of covering, which I definitely appreciate. I think I'm gonna take a little bit more just to kind of see how this builds up. So let's go in with a little bit more. I think that much should be good. Just a little bit. It feels very fresh at the touch as well. And definitely does give you a pretty glow. And it doesn't feel like anything heavy on the skin. And when you touch it, like when I touch it to apply it on my face, it feels very velvety and very luxe. Like it feels like a high-end foundation. And I think the color is matching me pretty well. Maybe a tad bit darker, but I think for the most part, it's really good. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and go in on this side with the brush. I'm curious to see how it will perform with the brush. This e.l.f. brush is really nice. It just does a good job of really stippling that foundation into the skin and blending everything out beautifully, you guys can see. Okay, I definitely feel like I can see a little bit of the difference. This side already does look a little bit more fuller coverage. Like this side looks like what 2 layers on this side gave me. So I think that I'm not gonna need any more foundation. For me personally, lately, I've just been into, if I cover the redness and my skin looks evened out, I don't have to go in with another layer. I prefer nowadays to go in with 1 layer because I feel like the more layers of foundation I add on the skin, the more I'm gonna have to really make sure at the end of the day that I really cleanse the face and make sure that it is foundation makeup free. I also do feel like this looks a little bit more oil free than this side. I don't know if it's because it's a brush and the brush is also kind of like pressing the foundation into the skin, which kind of makes it take out some of those oils, but it definitely does look a little bit more better, in my opinion. As somebody that has oily skin, I probably would go in with a brush. And then if I did want to add a little bit more product, I could go in with a sponge because then I know the sponge will absorb any of that extra product that may want to linger on. Now, this is definitely one of those foundations that me as an oily skin person will have to make sure that I take all precautions to set, just because it definitely looks like if I don't take the precautions to mattify, to set it and all that, it will definitely get very oily and maybe a little problematic by the end of the day. But you guys can see it looks really nice. It's not clinging onto any of my texture. If anything, I feel like it just sunk into the skin and became one with the skin. My nose area, sometimes I have trouble of product not really sitting well or sticking to that area, not really looking as pigmented as everywhere else. And I feel like this foundation, the product still looks really nice and pigmented. So definitely a positive thing. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do now is finish off the rest of my makeup, and then I'm gonna come back and give you guys my first initial thoughts, let you guys know how this ended up powdering. But so far so good. You guys can see the face is looking pretty nice. Really love how that looks. So I will be right back. Okay guys, so I am back. I completed this full face of makeup. As you guys can see, I will have all the details on this face listed down below in my description box. So right now it is 8:50 a.m. and we are about to start our day. So I went ahead and applied all the makeup so that we could complete the look with a pretty fresh foundation. I do have to say the only negative thing that I did see about this foundation is that I do feel like it oxidized a little bit. As I let it sit for like 5 minutes after I went off camera, I noticed I was getting a little tiny bit on the orangey side. So I did go ahead and use my concealer to kind of like neutralize everything. Today for concealer, I used the Jouer concealer because I wanted something a little bit more fuller coverage. And whenever I use a hydrating foundation, I can get away with using a matte concealer because they kind of just sit really well as opposed to using two of the same. I feel like if I use a hydrating concealer and a hydrating foundation, sometimes my face can look a little bit dewier, faster than typical, or if I use two matte products, it can look cakey and just yucky through the day. So I like to kind of mix and match depending on what foundation I'm wearing. So I went ahead and did that. And the concealer sat really nice on the skin. I think it's because it is a fuller coverage concealer on top of a lightweight consistency foundation. It just locked in place perfectly. So I do want to go ahead and kind of like bake the face a little bit. We'll set the face a little bit actually, because I don't have time to like sit here and bake it. But I'm going to be taking my Airspun powder in translucent, and I'm just going to be going in with my Real Techniques powder sponge. And I'm going to be setting the areas right here where I tend to get very oily. And I am going to be wearing this foundation for pretty much the entire day, from now until probably like 9 or so. So I do want to make sure that this is all locked into place, looking absolutely phenomenal. This will really help it kind of stick in place, because you guys saw how radiant and dewy it looked in certain areas. I just know that I had to take this precaution so that it doesn't look too intense. But I think it's gonna do pretty well, hopefully, with this. But I have to say, overall, the foundation gives a very beautiful finish. Even with my under eyes, because you guys know that I do bake my under eyes because of creasing, the foundation down here does not look heavy whatsoever. So I'm definitely appreciative of how everything's laying on top of the foundation. As you guys can see, it gives it almost an airbrush finish, even when you go in with powder, as where with some foundations that are more fuller coverage or thicker consistencies, it just looks like a lot. So look at that. Beautiful skin, ready for the day. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do now is carry on with the rest of my day. If you guys do watch my worth the buy or not foundation reviews, I like to do an in natural lighting clip so you guys can see how this looks in natural lighting. I feel like that's super important. You guys can just see the nitty gritty of the face and the skin. And then I'm going to be doing a check-in probably around 2 p.m. or 3. And then of course my final thoughts at the end of the day to let you guys know if I think this Colourpop Pretty Foundation is worth the $16 or not. Hey guys, so I just wanted to quickly do a check-in. I'm actually in my car and right now it is 2:31 p.m. I'm actually about to get my hair done, so that's why I'm also kind of in a rush, but I wanted to show you guys what the foundation looks like before I go in there. So this is what we're looking like. Definitely a little bit luminous. It's actually not as luminous as I thought it would be. Right now it is 98 degrees, so it's actually pretty hot out here. But I think it doesn't look too bad. I think if I blot it a little bit, I should be fine. So I'm actually really impressed with the fact that it's not looking as dewy as I thought it would. We'll have to see how it does in a few more hours, but right now at 2:31, it's actually looking pretty good for my taste. So I forgot to say one thing. It does feel very lightweight. It doesn't feel like you have anything heavy on the face. And when you touch it, it doesn't feel really sticky. So I feel like it feels fine. So that's definitely a positive. So I'm gonna go inside and I'll see you guys later. Right now it is 10:47 p.m. as you guys can see on my iPad. The last time you guys saw me was, I want to say like 2:30 p.m. and I was about to step into the hair salon to get my hair done. Really quickly, I just got my black hair retouched. So the only thing that I noticed through the day that really made this foundation like a few points lower than I would give it is the fact that this with a mask is not the move. It transfers a lot onto the mask, and then it just kind of looks a little bit cakey. The mask just really took off a good amount of foundation. Now I do have to say I have worn masks with other foundations and I haven't had an issue as big as this one right here, and I'm not the biggest fan of that because I feel like obviously going out with a mask is so essential. We all have to wear masks now, but it's not working out with what we have going on. So that would be the one downside, and I feel like for a lot of people that may be a issue and problematic because obviously half of our life does require wearing masks right now. So that was like the number one thing. But besides that, I really did enjoy this foundation. If we weren't in this pandemic and it was just another regular year, then I would say definitely a foundation worth checking out, especially for people that do have that normal to combination skin. I think you will really love it. The transferring, as you guys can see, definitely an issue. So those are pretty much all my thoughts. It was a very nice foundation. Did enjoy it. It had its pros, but it also has some cons. So it's definitely up to you guys to decide whether you think if this foundation is worth it personally for you. So I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this review. I hope that it was helpful if you are somebody that's looking into buying the new Pretty Fresh foundation by Colourpop. Definitely very new on the market. You can buy this on Ulta's website, curbside pickup, or you can buy this on Colourpop's website. So I hope that you guys enjoy that. And if you guys are new to my channel, hi, my name is Jessica and I make beauty videos, and I wouldn't want you guys to miss my beauty videos for the world because I always got you guys covered with the latest and the greatest in the beauty industry. So if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? You need to make sure that you're subscribed down below. While you're at it, hit the notification bell because that will make sure that you are notified as soon as I upload a new video, because the last thing you want to do is miss one of my videos, because these videos are hot over here. So don't forget to do all those things. Also, give this video a big thumbs up. It lets me know to continue doing my worth it buy or not foundation reviews. I have some fun stuff coming. Now that things kind of opened up a little bit, I was able to pick up some things online and in store so that I can bring you guys some really good content within the next few times that you guys see me. So that being said, I love you guys so much. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay beautiful, and I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon for a brand new video. Bye guys.